Alright, so I wanted to actually figure out how the different movement commands work for the units. I kept getting annoyed that my tanks were moving faster than my radar jammers, and after a couple of hours of testing, hopefully this will definitively answer for me and anyone else how do the basic commands actually work. So first off, unlike StarCraft 2, pressing the attack and then the click command, first of all, the left click is just a cancel, but attack and then click will just have the units attack the ground. Or get in range to attack the ground. Weirdly enough, it doesn't seem like it will attack your own units. So if I just select my own stuff, nothing will happen. So if I wanted to, for some reason, get rid of this metal extractor, then I would have to hit the ground next to it and make them stop. Kind of odd, but that's how that is. So, every unit basically behaves like a phoenix from StarCraft 2, where you click move and they will shoot anything nearby that they can, so long as it's an enemy. And you can also set the targets as well. For example, like set target here, so then as the units are moving, they'll keep firing at the spot. I can also change that by going to return fire or hold position. I don't know many use cases for the return fire stance yet though, so I'm ignoring the attack command for the most part. I mostly only use it for artillery to attack a spot they can reach but not see anyways. So that's mainly what I use the attack command for in the first place. I'm going to go through, in this video at least, move, fight, and maybe patrol as well. Now I'm going to say mouse 1 for left click and mouse 2 for right click. And I'm going to keep probably saying that and swapping back and forth because for some reason whenever I use left mouse button and right mouse button I keep getting them confused and backwards, and I don't know why. So to avoid that, I'll just try to stick with mouse 1, maybe M1 and M2 for mouse 1 and mouse 2 as well. Alright. General rule of thumb is that you select stuff with mouse 1, select stuff with mouse 1, and you command stuff with mouse 2. That's not always the case. Sometimes mouse 2 is also used as the cancel command for when you've already given an order for something, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So, let's start off, get my guys into a nice position first. There we go. That'll sort them out. Alright, so starting with mouse 2. So, mouse 2, a group moves to a point as fast as they can. Very simple. Alright, are we feeling good yet? Fantastic. Let's go ahead and reset them. Put them back in a neat little formation here. It's good enough. Alright. Hold and drag mouse 2, group, and the group will move to a new formation over the line that I draw as fast as possible. Now, and it will always be over the line that you draw, no matter how you draw that line. So this is mostly used for drawing straight lines or for drawing concaves. Actually, that's more convex. Let's say enemy is coming in this way, or even better, an enemy is coming into this choke, so I want my units to be in a concave to greet the enemy coming into this choke. So my units will now run to this concave as fast as they can. This guy is really slow, so that's probably going to take a while. Is what it is. Let's not wait for them. Come back over here. There we go. So, next up is the control command. Control generally means keep your units in formation as you click something. So, like here, units are in my nice little formation here. I'm going to hold control. Holding control also lets me tilt the camera with mouse 3 with the scroll wheel. But you can see that I'm holding control because of the crosshair in the middle of my group right here. That lets you know that I'm holding the control button. It kind of goes away when I'm hovering over a unit though, so that's kind of annoying, but that's how you know. So control, mouse 2, click. My units will go to where I sent them to, but maintain the formation at the speed of the slowest unit in the group. Very nice. And they'll kind of do their best around obstacles, I suppose. So let's say we had some stuff over here. Like you see, these guys are kind of like trying to maneuver around this terrain and rock. It's a huge rock, holy crap. Oh dang, they just ran straight through the rock, never mind. But yeah, you see the small guys still kind of navigated around the terrain and then are going back into it. So yeah, they'll navigate around obstacles as best as they can. Yeah, I don't want to run over my own mech, so he moved around it. Fantastic. Alright. Now, control, hold, mouse 2. My units will now go to the line that I drew, but maintain the slowest speed of the group. So this does not maintain the formation, this goes to a new formation. Again, this is usually done for lines and concaves, but you can draw the line however you want, and you just make it really weird. The units will try to follow it to the best of their ability. I can draw some loop-de-loops here. It's getting weird. Again, the units will just try to follow the line as best as they can, but you can do weird stuff with it. If you want to. I don't know why you would, but it'd be funny. Sure, why not? And that's really it for the basic move commands. With just 2 buttons, there's already a lot to get used to with how the units move about, and we're still scratching the surface here. So let's get to F for fun and fight. First things first, let me go ahead and put these back into a neat little formation to make it nice and pretty to look at, because that's how I like my units, nice and pretty. Anyone else think that the radar jammer is kind of feminine? Like a jammer girl and a jammer boy? Just me? No? Okay, well, we'll move on from that. Now, the fight command doesn't use mouse 2. Example, if I just hit fight, and now you can see I have the purple here, and then mouse 2, nothing happens. Right? And on the grid, that key is, I'm using grid, so that fight key is F. So fight, mouse 2, that just cancels. Nothing happens. Okay, I guess that's fine enough. What about fight, then hold mouse 2? Okay, looks like they will fight to the line that I drew as fast as they are able to. Yep. Now, again, if you don't already know, fighting just means that they will stop and shoot at whatever unit it is they come across. The radar bots here don't have a gun. So the tanks, if I say fight this way, the tanks will fight, or even better, let's say I say fight there. If there are enemy units over here, the tanks will stop and shoot at them like the attack move in StarCraft, but the smaller bots, but the radar bots will keep going, probably, because they don't have a gun, so why would they stop? That is my interpretation, at least. We'll see how that plays out in a real game, but that's what I'm getting so far. Alright, let's put them back. Let's put them back over there. Let's see. And this is, again, tap the fight button, then hold control, then click mouse 2. So, yeah, this is with control. Fight, hold control, mouse 2, nothing happens. Alright, this one feels a little weird. I feel like something should happen here, because holding control, nothing happens, but fight, mouse 2 is a cancel, so I'm guessing fight, control, mouse 2 is also a cancel with nothing happening. Okay. Interesting. So, let's go with... well, first of all, the fight command actually uses mouse 1 instead of mouse 2 for all of its actual commands. So let's start off with fight, mouse 1. Alright. Pretty simple. Units will go to this point, stopping to fight everything along its path. Just like a move in StarCraft 2. That is exactly what that is. Let's see. Fight, hold control, then M1. Or then, whoops. Fight, hold control, then press M1. This time, they will maintain their slowest unit speed and go into formation. Again, stopping to fight everything that's along this path. I'll have to test later how exactly this interacts with the hold fire and return fire stances, and maybe even maneuver and roam as well. But generally, we stick to hold position and fire at will as the default. But sometimes I might want to put them in maneuver so they will actually chase down something that's shooting them. Maybe if it's a little out of their range, they can actually chase it down a little bit and finish it off. That's the idea, at least. First, let's get back into a neat formation here. Alright. They'll still do their best around obstacles, of course. I suppose. But throughout the video, you've probably already have seen me moving my units back into formation, like so. Just getting a neat little box going on here. And this is probably my favorite command of all of the movements in this game. So it is fight, hold, mouse 1, draw. And you can only draw a line. This is not like the other draw where you can make a weird box, where you can make weird concaves and convexes. No, this is just a line. So you fight, hold, and draw. The units will move units to the formation as fast as they can. However, the formation will change area depending on how long the line is drawn. So for example, if my line is long enough, then my units will go through all in a line. Well, they'll just match the line. But if I make the line a little bit shorter, first of all, let me put them back here a little bit, just to make it easier for us to see. This is the Jammer Girl. I'm calling it now. What would be her name? Anyways, if the line is drawn long enough, then the units will spread out along the line. If it is drawn short enough, let's say this is the full line, but let's draw it a little bit shorter, then the units will scrunch together in an area and add depth to the formation. See here, now, my Jammer Girl will go to this spot right here. And I can make it even smaller. Smaller again. Again, this time, I have a 5 tank wide line, so my 2 radars are going back. Making it even smaller. This should be a 3 tank line-ish, roughly. So how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 units, so I should have like one row of 3 tanks, 3 of the bulls. Then the next row to the left will be 2 bulls and the radar, and then the Jammer Girl will be in the back. This is what I would expect. This was 4 wide, so I was close. Alright, so that was a 4 wide line. Here's about a this should be a 3 wide line. Jammer girl in the back, 3 tanks in the front. And look at that. Even the Prophet is nice and snug inside the middle of the formation. That is absolutely fantastic. However, there's a kind of a problem if you've been paying adroit attention. If I were to, let's say, make my little formation, let's say it's 3 formation, 3 tank wide formation over here. Uh-oh, wait a minute. First of all, they will bump into each other to get there, so watch out for that. But my jammer is still on the left side of the formation, but I want my tanks and so forth to be in front, protecting my jammer and the smaller bots. Uh-oh, this is a problem. Like, it's not a problem when I'm moving to the right, because all my tanks and so forth are at the front. So let's just go 5 wide to make it easy. But if I were to go, first of all, let's make it even. There we go. 5 wide over here. I don't know why this guy is going all the way up, but okay. Not sure why it does. I'm not sure why it does what it does sometimes, but it is what it is. But if I were to go a 5 wide line, a 5 tank wide line, then my jammer, that's 6, daggone it. Then my jammer and radar will still be at the left of this formation, which, is a problem. I don't want my squishies to not be protected. Why is that? Well, it turns out that the direction that the fight box line is drawn determines which direction the formation faces, as indicated by the arrow on the ground. So, as you can see, if I draw down, then I will have my tanks up in front. And that will be true every single time. Oops. Stop it. Say 5 wide. Yeah. So you can see where my jammer is going to be in the middle, or my jammer's at the edge, and radar's in the middle. But drawing 5 wide, jammer is still going to be in the back. But if I were to draw up, so this is drawing down and drawing up. Oh, the arrow's facing the other way. So this way I should expect my tanks to be in front facing this way, while my jammer boys are so nice and snug in the back. Come on, girl, you'll get there eventually. Just push that one out the way. Okay, you're not heavy enough to do that. So if I'm going to the left, and I want to maintain my jammers in the back, my squishy bots in the back, then I want to draw my fight area, or fight line, going up. And this is similar if I'm going down or up as well. So draw to the right, my tanks should be facing up. Let's go 3 wide. Tanks should be facing up and drawing down 2 wide. So like this, I should expect my jammer and radar bot to be way in the back over here, while I have just 2 columns of tanks in front of them, just like this. And that would be the case if I had an even number of tanks, I'm sure. Boom. And just like that, I can now confidently predict how my units will attempt to move wherever they go. So 2 wide column, jammer and radar in the back. This is about a 3 wide column, jammer and radar to the south of the others, or rather, radar in the middle and jammer in the very back. Alright, well, the jammer kind of got bullied out of its position by the bulls, but that can happen. Get over it. No place for weakness here. So, jammer, radar, and 1 bull in the back, facing up. and then jammer, radar, one bull in the back facing down. Ah, this is a 5 wide. See, this is not easy to really get the hang of this. Alright. Let's give another example. Oops. I got 5 blitzers, 10 rovers. So if I draw a formation that is roughly 5 blitzers wide, yes, this should be roughly 5 blitzers wide, then I should have a column of 5 blitzers, and then 2 columns of 5 rovers. That was not. There we go. Let's spread that out a little bit more. Come on. 5. Keep getting 6. There we go. There's 5. Alright. So, just like that. A column of 5, 5, 5, 5 with tanks in front. Same going the other way. So this way, drawing up, I'll have 5 blitzers in the front facing the west, and then 2 rows. Well, okay, you know what? Screw it. We'll leave it at that. Because if I'm too wide, then I'll have the rovers fill in for the front line as well. And I can also, of course, make it short like this, and then I'll just have all the blitzers up front facing the arrow, and then the rovers behind them. Wow, that would be a 2 bull wide. Oh, look at that! They still make a nice little formation with the blitzers in front. That is cool. Right. Alright, now let's adding both groups together. Alright, so just selecting them both and saying, alright, come face the east, and we'll make it about this wide. Make it shorter. A little shorter. There we go, that'll do. How does it wind up? Or rather, let's go over here instead. First of all, we can see that the jammer is still trying to go into the back. I'll just cheat and move that where it's supposed to be. And this is a little odd that the bulls are in the back behind the smaller units, but that's just how it is. Moving forward a bit. And the bulls want to be behind this line. What if we did it 5 wide? 5 blitzers wide. Alright, 5 blitzers, 5 rovers. And then the tanks, which are not wide enough or not thin enough to really get in that same column as the blitzers and the rovers, so instead they just kind of make their own formation back here, which is, honestly, I like it. I'm going to keep it. I'll allow it. And of course we'll move down as well. Make a big line. Cancel with mouse 2. Make a big line this way. What do I get? Alright, I got a mix of rovers and blitzers on the front line. Everything in the second line, and then the jammer off to the side here. I think I would kind of rather have the jammer near the middle, but I mean, if I want that, then I'll just have to make my formation smaller, and or even smaller. Now, my tanks are just going to push all my other units out the way of the formation. So that's kind of something to look out for. But taking a look at here, all these different kinds of combinations. The implications of this and the combinations of this command are kind of staggering, since it doesn't really seem like you can really tell what formation you're going to end up in without sheer practice and experience. And they'll still bump each other over and out of the way and trip over terrain if you're not careful enough. But we're not even done with the fight command yet. We still have first the control commands. So let's go 1 and 2, fight, control, mouse 1. And everybody moves at the speed of the slowest unit in the group. Beautiful. And of course they will stop and shoot at anything along their way, and I'm going to tell them to maneuver so that they can actually, get around a little bit and shoot those pesky ticks that are trying to escape. I'll allow it. I would presume, though, that the radar units don't stop again, and these guys need to be, these guys still need to be babied. Which is understandable. Now, 1 and 2, fight, control, hold mouse 1. Same rules as fight, hold mouse M1, but only this time the units are going at the speed of molasses because the radar jammer has a very slow speed. So they'll figure it out eventually. F control M1. This was just for the group 1. But you'll notice they also went at the slowest speed. The bikes went at the speed of the blitzers, which are, well, slower. So, add in the second control group as well. And control, fight, control, over here. Actually, you know what? Group 1, y'all can come back over here. And you'll notice that they're traveling at the same speed. They'll get there and work it out eventually. I've still not touched really the hold fire and return fire stances yet, and that's a whole nother can of worms that I'm just not going to tackle at this moment. For brevity's sake, assume that patrol and the fight have the same control scheme here. However, there's one important thing to understand about formation moving in general, at least with these ground units that I've been testing, is that turn speed acceleration does not count when calculating the speed of the slowest in the group. And this is more easily shown in a patrol, so which I'll go ahead and show in a second. So, watch this. So, patrol, and because we already know that we have the same control schemes, we'll hit control. So they're moving at the same speed, and I'm telling them to patrol to here in formation. Alright, this should be fine, right? Everything's moving at the same speed. We're about to come up on the first turn. Oh, look at that. The radar bot turns at a much faster rate than the bulls, which means it's going to turn again faster and kind of like have to get jimmied around by these bulls because the bulls are not going to get pushed around by a radar vehicle. Yeah, that's not happening. So now our entire formation's timing is thrown off because the unit can turn faster than all the others. And if we leave that alone, then it will eventually just become quite the mess. Which is what it is, I guess. Over time, this can really mess with your routes. And I got some stealth bots over here to show an example. Because these 3 stealth bots, or stealth tanks, what are these called again? Stealth tanks? Yeah. These 3 stealth tanks I sent from here to here at the exact same time. They're not lined up. And these 2 are slowly becoming unaligned over time as well. Now, even more so, the terrain itself is a factor in how well your patrols match up. Because this bumping over here is kind of screwing over with the turn speed of my stealth tank here. And now you can see these guys are unsynced as well. These guys were all launched at the same speed from the same line, and you can see this is wildly out of whack because we got these guys that are constantly trying to move around and over these like bumps in terrain. Look at that slowdown. got the curb, got the what the heck is going on with this tiny little bump in terrain, and this thing over here. Let's not even get into what happens when the units don't have the space to turn properly and are bumping into each other. Maybe that's less impactful on the bots, who can generally turn on a dime. But that is going to be it for this testing and learning. I hope this was as informative to you as it was to me. Let me know if you already knew about all of these in the comments. We'll see what is next. Peace.